Welcome back to our YouTube channel. And if you're new to the 7-Minute Life, you're going to want to be sure to click the button and subscribe, because today's class, and that's what we do a lot of teaching. Today, you're going to be learning how to fight burnout. I really could just stop there, but let me define what burnout is and why it is such an important problem. Burnout is when you've gotten to that very place where you're living on fumes. You know, it's not just that you're a little tired. When you're burned out, you are crispy. You've given everything you have. You've given and given and given, and you're struggling at work. You're struggling at home. You're absolutely ready to find change in your life. So if that sounds like you, if you need to improve your work-life balance to just get yourself going again, then this is the class that you're going to watch. Now, I'm going to make a promise to you that you want to watch this video to the very end. It's going to be short, but you're going to want to watch it to the very end, because it's at the very end of this video that I'm going to be giving you access to the tool that I believe can be that tipping point for you. So stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and hop into the class, and I look forward to your comments. Tell your friends, subscribe to our Instagram channel and Facebook. So let's get started with today's class. As I promised, we're going to be talking about fighting burnout. And my goal as the teacher of this class is to help you improve your time management skills so that you can improve your work-life balance. There has never been a time that it's more important to be able to understand how can you fight burnout. Now, I have some very specific learning objectives. The first one is how to fight burnout. And in order to do that, I think there are a few things that you have to do, and those are the next 3 points. So first, we have to learn how to clarify what you value most in life. We have to help you reduce procrastination, disorganization, and interruptions. And then I'm going to hopefully give you some clues as to how you can say no to what everybody else is asking, to stop taking care of everyone else first and to begin to learn some self-care. So when I talk about how to fight burnout, I want to turn to my own personal story. I created the 7-Minute Life because at the age of 43, I literally woke up one morning and I realized that busy was killing me. I was personally living in clutter and chaos and distractions and constant interruptions. I felt like my life was just exploding. I was disorganized and I didn't have any focus. And the frightening thing about that is that it didn't just stop there. What happens when you begin to burn out is it moves over from just living in chaos to having emotional reactions. And so what I felt from all of these things is that I was overwhelmed, stuck, frozen, and exhausted. And I believe what happened to me when I hit that moment of absolute burnout, that I was just drifting through life. And so the 7-Minute Life, I want you to look at this arrow. You'll hear us talking about it over and over. So as you get involved in our video series, as you've subscribed and begin to watch through these series of classes, busy was killing me. But that first awareness was that time was always moving forward. And because I knew that the next step I had to take was, how do I then go from busy was killing me to improving my time management, which is what we're going to talk about today. But what I also knew is that even if my time management skills improved tremendously, if I were able to get everything done, the bigger question would be, would it be enough? Would just getting more things done have made a difference in my life? And the answer was no. And so as you fight burnout and as you're beginning to look at these things, I want to start this class. Again, I'm just sharing my personal story of being a working mother, 43 years old, very successful in the financial services industry. I didn't just want to get more done. I wanted more out of life. And we often get the question, well, Allyson, what did you really want out of life? Well, again, I'm going to go back to the fact that I knew that time was constantly moving forward. And if that was the case, then what I wanted to do in that time frame is I wanted to reconnect with clarity. I think that's the first step in fighting burnout, is to step out of the noise and to grab a piece of paper and to write down, to clarify, who are you today? Who do you want to be? And how are you going to get there? To come back with your priorities and your purpose, and to understand, maybe for the first time, to see that North Star of what is your passion, what is going to bring back that drive and motivation. But the 7-minute life also understands that it's not just about rediscovering these things. It is an effort. If you really want your life to be different, then you're going to have to work at it. You know, you're going to have to rediscover grit and perseverance. There are a lot of people, you know, motivational speakers that'll come out and say, hey, I've got a solution. Well, the solution is the hard work. The solution is finding tools that can help you, but then being willing to create new behaviors to use them, because fighting burnout, the opposite of that is reconnecting with your whole self. It's reconnecting with your heart, body, mind, and soul. Now, why the 7-minute life cares so much about that is I believe that time management is that circling factor that comes around everything. How we spend the next 24 hours of our life is going to be what our life becomes. Let me just give you the rest of the story, is that I hit that tipping point at 43, but I chose not to stay there. I began to research, how could I improve my time management? What were some real steps? Now, for 31 years, I worked at Morgan Stanley and Merrill Lynch and was very successful, in the top 11% in sales. And I still couldn't improve my time management. So I began to study, I began to reflect. And what you're going to hear, even in this short video, is how can you take 29 years of what I've learned and begin to use it today? So what happened is I ended up writing all these books. I began to be hired by a lot of companies because they knew their people were burned out. And over the last 29 years, I've ended up focusing my purpose and my passion, spending more than 10,000 hours researching and writing. I've presented more than 500 presentations, and the books that you're going to be learning from as you become involved in the 7-minute life have sold 130,000 copies. And even this YouTube channel has had more than 2.1 million minutes watched. So let's talk about, hopefully now I've shared with you why burnout is important, that you're just like me. I struggled through it too, and I'm gonna now give you some real solutions. I believe that you can define burnout in another way. I think you can define it by a concept that is pretty clear, that at the 7-minute life, we call the choke point. And the choke point is when you are so overwhelmed, it's like you really can't get anything else done, that we're just stuck. What happens in the choke point and what causes burnout, and a lot of times, is that we are procrastinating because we're overwhelmed, disorganized, constantly interrupted. We have too much to do and not enough time. So how do you fight that? Well, let me give you some, I don't know, grace, some understanding of why it's a problem. And I'm going to help you today solve for, how do you first understand the problem of having too much to do and why you're procrastinating, and how you can do a better job of untangling all of that. But first, I think we have to understand the reality of why time management is so hard, and how we need to look at it through a different lens. On most people, when I'm coaching executives or when people are in my classes, I see an average of roughly 15 things on people's to-do list. And that's if they have some kind of written to-do list. And they think, oh, I can get those 15 things done. You know, I've got 24 hours to get those things done. But I want to take you as a first glance and show you why having 15 things on your to-do list is too many. So let's assume you have 15 things. I want you to begin to visualize these arrows as individual tasks that are coming into your day. So let's say that this is the first thing that was on your to-do list and you actually let it into your day. So this little hourglass is the next 24 hours that you have. So there's your first task coming into the day. And then here are the second task, the third task, the fourth task, and the fifth task. So now what you're beginning to see is that a list of 15 things actually begins to crowd into your day. So let's add a few more of those things. And now let's finally get to 15. So here is a visualization of 15 things coming into your life. Now, seeing it in this way where things are really coming at you and coming into your day, when you see that, you can understand why we call it the choke point, is that we have so many tasks that we have made some kind of emotional commitment. When we write them down, we feel like we should be able to get those things done. You can see that you hit what we call the choke point, but it gets worse. When you hit this choke point, it's not just that. It's not just the things on your to-do list. Now look at all these other things that come in. It's the text messages, the email messages. You need to run to the grocery store. You've got to run the errands. You've got to take your child somewhere. It's no wonder we're burned out, because we truly are living in a choke point. So in this class, I wanted to start with defining burnout and how do you fight it? Well, the first way you fight it is understanding what it is. And it's almost like you have a reason to procrastinate. You have every right to feel overwhelmed, because we have so many things coming into our life that this really does cause burnout. Now, one of the things I would encourage you to do is become a reader. Jim Rohn, he's passed away probably more than a decade ago, maybe 2 decades ago, but he writes so many powerful things. And in his audiobook, The Art of Exceptional Living, Jim Rohn said there is a formula for failure. It is a few errors in judgment repeated every day. And so I do believe that fighting burnout comes to daily disciplines. But if you are burned out and watching this video, then you can't continue to do what you've done in the past. What you've done in the past has led to where you are today. It's those errors in judgment. It's the putting too many things on your to-do list. It's saying yes to too many things. And so how do you stop making those poor errors in judgment to going into what Jim Rohn talks about, the formula for success? Jim Rohn says that the formula for success is replacing those errors with a few simple disciplines repeated every day. Now, we believe you can do that 7 minutes at a time. And what do I mean by that? Why 7 minutes? So here is the answer, is why 7 minutes? There are 24 hours in a day. And that breaks down into 1,440 minutes. What would happen if we could teach you how to take 1% of your time? I think you can see where this is going, just 14 minutes. What would happen if you could take 7 minutes in the morning to create a better to-do list? To say, I can't get 15 things done, but maybe there are a few things that I can get done, important things. And what if you were to take 7 minutes in the evening to learn how to reflect on what you accomplished? Wouldn't it make more sense if you were struggling with burnout, if you began to deconstruct it? You began to ask, why am I burned out? And most likely it's because we have lack of clarity. We're not sure where we're going or how we should be spending our time. And this is where I believe the 7 minute life, just the very first things that you can do with the 7 minute life, can begin to make your life different. If we want to dig out of burnout, then we need to improve something else. We need to improve our clarity, our focus, our time management skills. And we believe we can help you do that by taking 7 minutes, physically setting a timer for 7 minutes and going through what I'm about to show you. And why is this so important? Improving your personal time management is important because every single task or action that you let into your day is automatically knocking something else out. Let me just say that again. Every single task that you let into your day is automatically knocking something else out. So what is being knocked out of your life? I think life is being knocked out. How much sleep you get, how much time with your friends, every single action is knocking something else out. So we have to learn how to make choices. And we can begin to make choices when we learn new habits. When you're ready to improve your time management, then this next sheet of paper, we're going to teach you how to leverage 1% of your day to think, to clarify, to plan, to prioritize, and to choose how you'll spend the remaining 99% of your time. In other words, we're going to teach you how to take 14 minutes a day, to take 7 minutes in the morning to think about what you need to do, to clarify those tasks. Are they moving me forward? To create a written plan of action to prioritize out of those 15 things, what are the most important, and begin to learn how to choose how you'll spend your time. Now, at the beginning of this class, I made a promise, and I promised that I would share with you the one tool that I believe can help you fight burnout from a specific time management point of view. This is the tool, the daily progress report, that I created back in the early 90s, because what I needed was a tool. I wanted concepts, but I wanted a specific tool, a real tool that I could use to dramatically improve my daily productivity. I needed a tool to organize my day. I needed a tool to fight what I call shower planning. Shower planning is when you hop in the shower and 1,000 things run through your mind. And by the time you get in your car to go to the office, it's like a dry eraser board and all those things are gone. I needed a place to create a written to-do list. I needed to prioritize what would I do first. I needed something where I could improve my focus. By looking at it, by having a tool, I could see it, and I wanted to get more of the right things done. Now, this is really the foundation of the 7-minute life, but you have to learn how to use it. So let's just take just a moment to walk through how to use it. The daily progress report is where you will learn to create a written plan of action. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the top of this worksheet, you're going to download it, and you're going to mark today's date. You're going to circle it in, and you're going to absolutely put in today's date. The reason we want to do that is that we want you to take ownership of today. If this piece of paper is going to represent how you progress through the day, then the very first thing you want to do is basically put a stake in the ground and say, today matters. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to set a timer for 7 minutes, and you're going to create a to-do list. You're going to write everything down that you could do. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to prioritize those in order of importance. And our goal is to get you to create a priority list of what are the 5 most important things that you will make a commitment to accomplish before 11 a.m. We call that the 5 before 11 list. This is where you'll learn how to prioritize your tasks. But life doesn't end there. That's a huge time management leap. But also, if you're going to fight burnout, we do that by surrounding ourselves with connections. We want to feel like relationships, friendships, family matter. And we need to be intentional about those things. So in the daily progress report, you're going to see a section that's called 7-minute life connections. Who are you going to call today? A college friend, a family member, someone that you've just wanted to stay connected with, or if you're in business, maybe someone that can become a mentor or a prospect. The next section in the daily progress report is the unfinished task list. This is where you'll write down all of those other things that you need to get done, that you've got to go to the grocery store or run the errands or pay the utility bill, whatever it is, what's unfinished in your world. And at the end of the day, when you're wrapping up, one of the most powerful things we can do to fight burnout and to improve our own work-life balance is to make it a habit to write down what we're thankful for. Again, I needed a I was looking for an all-encompassing tool to specifically make those habits of what am I most grateful for today. Also, this section is about psychological triggers. Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you exercising? Taking time to breathe and reflect. Are you learning and growing? Are you eating healthy food? Because at the end of all this, what we want to do is to be able to say, did I do what I said I would do today? So as you're looking at this tool, and I'm just going to go back to that one page that takes us to where we were of looking at how can you improve your time management. What I want you to remember is when you get to that bottom of did I do what I said I would do today? I used to think it was yes or no, but it's not really. It's really a spectrum of yes, I did what I said I would do today. So fighting burnout, first we have to define it. Obviously, we have too many things on our to-do list. What we have to do is not get more things done. We have to clarify what's most important to us. And then we need to create a tool, a process, a new habit. We call that creating the daily progress report. We've just walked you step by step through that. And the very last piece of doing this is when you are really ready to take control of your life, then you're going to continue to watch these videos. We don't have time to go in and talk about projects and micro actions. So I really want you to make sure that you subscribe to the channel, that you watch the playlist, you get involved. But I do want to leave you with one takeaway. What would happen to your own time management skills if after you created your to-do list, you truly would learn to create that 5 before 11 list? What would happen if you just utilize this one tool? If for the next 7 days, you get involved in the 7-minute life and you were able to accomplish 5 high-value tasks for the next 7 days, you would accomplish 35 high-value tasks that aligned with what is most important to you. But the 7-minute life isn't a 7-day platform. It's a 90-day platform, and it's built on 90 days because that's how nature's built: winter, spring, summer, fall. And if you're really willing to take the steps of learning how to use the daily planning tools, of learning how to, take a look at all the things that we have to offer, when you're ready, just use this simple tool to take that 7 minutes. If you would accomplish 5 high-value tasks for the next 90 days, you would accomplish 450 positive, powerful things moving you forward. So I'm Allyson Lewis. Today, we've talked about fighting burnout and reconnecting with work-life balance. Make sure that you download the tool below, and you're going to begin to get started with the 7-minute life. Welcome so much. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, and reach out to us if you have any questions at all.